Hello there, Sagittarius. I hope the new year is treating you very well. I'm going to go ahead and do a medicine wheel for you guys. I'll start with these orange cards here. It will fill up the entire table. So these tend to be a little bit long readings, but you know, it's just worth it to go full circle. So, oh, we've got a flip. Okay, so that one will go right in the center, and that's obviously the center of you. And it just says the ritual of joy. Beautiful. We've got all sorts of flippers right now. So usually I fill the table and then flip them all in order. So give me a second here. And so, woohoo! Wonderful. Sagittarius. Got some really good energy going here. So, then we have here. Okay. Now, what I have is, in the center, this is the ritual of joy. So this little person is just running around and dancing in the sun and enjoying the meadow and the clouds and the sun on the clouds. And there's nowhere to be. There's nothing more to do than just enjoy. And so it's just reminding you to have a few moments like that in a day. You know, the quote of, if you can't spare an hour, or I'm sorry, if you can't spend a moment, then you better take an hour. It's kind of time management, I'm feeling, and this is upside down. This deck doesn't necessarily have upside down meanings, but just take what I say and understand that it's probably something you need to work on, which is this little bright white light that's surrounding this person. So they've done, what they're doing is this circle, which is the circle here. It's represented by these 4 points, and it's actually a compass. So this right here is the south, and the south is about your relationships. And this one is saying to create the bright white light and surround yourself in a sacred space and allow yourself to have some boundaries and do what you need for you in order to be happy. And right here we have change, and right here is the placement of within. So we have the past, and then what that created as far as a belief system, and what's going on in there is changing. So, you know, everything that happens to us, every experience that we have creates change in the way that we look at things. So the path doesn't stop, it changes colors, you see. They start as a baby here, go on the red road, and then the spirit, up in that corner there, it goes up into the stars, and then it turns into the blue road. And the blue road is this place right here. It's connected to the stars, the afterlife, meditation, astral projection, abundance, wisdom, that type of thing. And up here, upside down again, which, just take it as you will, is the fire. So you're Sag, that makes sense. So I understand it, but this person is not a suicide bomber. I apologize about the artwork, it's a little gruesome, but they're actually creating fire within. So it's way more to do with passion, spontaneous energy, sexual energy, and free-flowing energy as well. This is a person who's creating that for, you know, his heart. And it is aligned perfectly with joy and this sacred space. So I like this. I mean, it's like this person is down here in the cycles, enjoying their sacred space, and with their mind is just creating this vortex, right, of reaching forward and reaching up towards the light. And then we have this spontaneous energy also reaching upwards. So that's a really good flow if you look at it. So very good. It just tells me that you're open and ready to receive, and you've got this sacred space that's in your past, so I feel like you've already been doing that. It's upside down, so it might be something that you still want to concentrate on because, you know, you've got this change card here, and it just reminds us to always be dynamic, always be changing, and just know that everything that happens, you know, to us is for our highest good and to fuel our passion, you know, at the end of the day. So right here is the placement of fire, actually. It's about new beginnings, the sunrise. The eagle is the representation of this area right here. And it's about, communication with the sky and then coming back down and applying it. So this one is action in the physical realm. And we have new abilities. So this is the water bird, and he's kind of diving down into the vortex. He's going down the rabbit hole, if you will, and it leads to this self-reflection. It's part of this where he's going into the bright white light, and expanding the vortex upwards. So, and they come back with all this self-reflection. The water bird usually will stand up on his really tall legs and just look down, and he's looking down and seeing only a reflection. So in legend, he does the self-work, the inner work. So it is calling a little bit for that, and I will switch up and go to the next deck. Let me grab this one, actually. Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I got a little bit of a throat issue going on. I've got some cold and flu kind of symptoms just running around my home, so still hanging on to it, obviously, but hopefully you can hear me okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some for the center to go there with the joy, and I'm hoping to elaborate on kind of what that joy is or how to find it. And the butterfly, perfect. So it kind of goes right in between here. I like that. So you can see that you're also connected to the air, which is a little bit dangerous, seeing as how you are fire and air. So don't forget to slow down. This one is earth and this one is water. So make sure you're doing that work as well. But you have so much, I really like the action here. We've got the step, and then you go up there and through the blue, and then this is blue and purple also. And then this has got that blue and purple where it's upward reach, but everything is at the present moment, right? So every decision that you make determines your happiness. So if you want to feel good, then just do things that feel good. If you really, really don't like yoga, or you really, really dislike Zumba, then you don't have to go because everyone else is doing that. Or if you really, really love yoga, that's a really good decision when you're feeling down to just go and do. You might find, and whatever that is, it can be yoga or whatever, but when you follow that, when you lead with that joy, and then you find this passion, you'll find just how much the spirit realm and the universe is behind you. And so long as you keep yourself sane and grounded with the water and the earth energies, then the air and the fire are perfectly aligned. You have all of the elements here in all four corners. So interesting. So let's pull for the south. Perfect. Okay, well, south side. Okay, so I'll show you this really quick too. This is the back of the card, and this is what we're doing. So here's the medicine wheel with photos, and the south is represented by the wolf. And then we go to the bear, which is hibernation. To the north is a white buffalo, which is abundance and rare energy. So it's the albino buffalo, and the buffalo create everything for the people. People could rely on just the buffalo. So they're very sacred, and the white buffalo even more so. And then the eagle to the east is, like I said, sunrise, and it's fire, and it's new beginnings and action plans. But the south is represented by the wolf because we live with other people. We are social beings, and we have social interactions and social lessons, quite frankly, which is, as it says here, obviously. And lessons help us grow. And they teach us what we need to know about putting boundaries up and what to do next, which is right where this card lies. Okay, so knowing when to close yourself into a boundary and knowing when to move forward and go do the thing that lights you up is power. So moment by moment, make those choices and decisions. But I'll leave this here. This is saying that, the things that happen to us for in regards to relationships, in regards to experiences, what's happened for us in our experience gives us lessons and it helps us to grow, regardless of what it is. And you have all of this joy right here in the center, but this one is asking you to do that self-dive work, and there's a couple things to keep in mind when we're doing a dive, which is, you know, you don't want any kind of self-loathing as far as looking back at your experiences and not liking what you see. That's definitely not a good idea. Sorry, I hope that lighting kind of helps. I'm trying to make it as bright as I can in here. It's kind of hard. Okay, so yeah, the South speaks to relationships, and we will come back to that. So right now I want to see about, okay, this change. The change is all about the North. So interesting. All right, so the change that you've been concentrating on, that's going on within you, is connected very much so with the stars and with like a pure of heart. It's like when you're aligned, then the things will come. Like once you're in flow, once you're dancing and you're experiencing the dance, that's when flow comes to you. And we lead with this inner child type energy, you see, where it's just us following the joy. This lights me up and makes me feel like I want to dance and fly and just experience beauty. And this one is saying, okay, when everyone around you is saying that's childish, that's stupid, don't do it, Spirit is asking you to do it, and that is what matters. So keep that innocence alive, that freedom alive, and just know that you're never as limited as you may seem, or that people try to convince us that we are for some really crazy reason. Especially people of our parents' generation, like baby boomers and the generation between millennials and boomers is very naysay. So just make sure with this change you're following your joy, and maybe even don't even tell people who you know are going to be naysayers. If you know that your aunt who sits at the head of the table is going to make you feel like crap for wanting to be a yoga instructor or a spin artist on some stage or whatever it is, then just don't tell her that that's your plan. Just say, hey, you know, I'm going to be gone for a while because I found this thing that lights me up and makes me feel joy and makes me feel like I'm changing and actually using my abilities, you know. And when they say, what is it? You say, oh, I'll let you know. You'll see. I'm doing it for me, not for anyone else. I'm learning my lessons. I'm, you know, coming back to source energy, and tell them as much as you want. You know, they can fish for information, but you don't have to involve everybody because your change is up to you and your own abilities. Okay, perfect. So next card here is the Capricorn card, and it's represented by the wolf here. You can see just those piercing eyes and the connectedness to the stars and the moon. They're very intuitive. They're good teachers. They are wise. They have the old soul about them. What else have we got? Greater responsibility. Yeah, so they're like the leaders of wisdom. So you can have a Capricorn in your midst, but that's not necessarily what it's getting at. What it's getting at is the embodiment of that sign. So if you just kind of look into what Capricorns do, what Capricorn's tasks are, you might find that it's like your moon sign or something else, but you might not even be connected to it at all as far as the zodiac. But as far as their positioning of the stars, we can utilize any sign of the zodiac as we need to and kind of tap into that energy and bring that inner knowing down. Or if you have a Capricorn in your life, they might have an insight for you. And moving forward, perfect. So we have the East card that, like I said, was represented by the eagle. So this is right where he wants to be, right here in the East. And it's about new beginnings, thought processes, inspiration. So this is also about enjoying the process and the journey and not getting so caught up in the how am I going to do it? How is this going to come to me? Do I have to do 10 sit-ups and pat my head and walk around in circles? The answer is no. The action is needing to be inspired action, not just action. And what that means is it has to feel just like this. Joyful, like you're flying, like you're dancing, like you have nothing else in the world to do. I'll go ahead and ask you the $1 million question, and you can put your answer either in the comments if you choose to, or just journal it. And the question is, if money was no longer an issue and you had all the time in the world, because you never had to try and earn money for yourself, what would you do with your time? Because all we really have on this planet Earth, in this space-time, is, obviously I just said it, space and time. So make sure your space, what you surround yourself with, your bedroom, your home, your zen, is aligned with you and makes you feel wonderful and innocent and inspired, because you have a lot of passion inside you that wants to be shared. Just don't talk yourself out of it with the ego or, other people. So we have the beaver. Beautiful. Okay, so this will go right in the center, and he's a builder, he's a creator, he's a thinker, and he's connected to both the water and the earth, and he utilizes every little bit of, they'll even use trash, they'll use other nests, they'll go and chew on things until they become tools. So they do all of this without getting the left brain craziness. They're still very grounded. They're still very connected to each other, to the earth, and to creating change, like here, and moving forward with it, utilizing the ability to create from their own two hands, and like, we're lucky because we have thumbs. These guys have to use their teeth most of the time. So, you have so much power and so much passion and so much to come through still. There's just so much clarity going on. Okay, so with that, like I said, the beaver does this without all of the ego and the left brain. And the weasel's the opposite. He almost goes searching for left brain hiccups. What could go wrong? What could be my stump? What could be my dead end? And we don't have to go looking for what can go wrong. We want to look at what we can utilize and do so correctly. So, hidden observations down here with the sacred space. It's over here with boundaries. So, we'll pull another one as we get to that sector, and we'll come back to it, because I'm hoping that the rest of the reading, a lot of times it mirrors, and so it will let me know what it has to do with, due to what's opposite. So, let's see, we'll go within now into the place of bear, which is over here. This is the hibernation, the retreat, the going within your sacred space that we talked about here, and instead of concentrating on your relationships, be concentrating on yourself. And what's going on in there is change to find your new abilities, and then your inner child that's going to lead you to your action process. And then we have a diversion. So these two have actually been coming out a lot together, actually. So diversion, obviously the opossum plays dead. He's not actually dead. He's, creating a diversion so that he doesn't get eaten. So he's not actually a rotten, disgusting thing, but he's going to give that impression. He's actually very agile. He's got this crazy tail. He's got this really long nose. He's actually built very unique. And he's probably the only animal that does that. The only other animals that have manipulative side are like the wolves and the coyotes, but they do it out of spite or to be, purposeful. And I don't feel like either of these are on purpose. I feel like there's just this energy of the unknown that's scary, and I get that. Just follow your joy. And know that you have so many of these tools and abilities to build. So just kind of go between. Okay, so alligator has a really tough skin, first off. So as you're going forward here, this is messages from the spiritual realm and connected to the stars and your passion. So this is about integration. It's also the ability to change, just because these guys are very ancient, right? And they've decided to stay between water and earth. They are dynamic in this same way. And water and earth energy are very important for 2018. It's just been in everybody's reading. Every single sign has just been like, get grounded. Okay, so this one says integration on there. It's not quite as extreme as transformation, because it's not like you have to let go and stomp all over it and stomp, stomp, stomp. It's more just like, okay, this is fitting me right now, and then go back to this, and this is fitting me right now, and just kind of get a feel for it. You can dip your toes in the water and then come back to land. It's okay to have many different avenues. Just maybe reach out to a coach. If this is business, I'm kind of feeling business, like new entrepreneur type stuff. And so reach out to a coach, either myself or, Stephanie Bellinger or Catherine Zankina or Sabrina Phillip, Amanda Francis, Gabby Bernstein. They go on and on. I do coaching as well, so if you enjoy this energy, just reach out to me in any time, and I'll go over at the end how to do that. But so it's integration. It's just being very dynamic with this change. Obviously, things are changing. It's led by your passion. You're guided with your third eye. Just know that you don't have to pick one and stick with it. You can do a lot of different ones. And this one says the Badger. Interesting. So I was hoping we wouldn't get an energy like this. So this is what I was saying. Oh, he's actually going to go down here. Interesting. So, So that's going to go with your new endeavor as far as moving forward. Let me think here and grab my new deck. So, the Badger is going to go here. He's crossing with the Opossum, with the Divergent. Let me think. There's change, and something about change, too, is that we can't always be the creator and the builder around all of it. Just know that you are supported, and if there's a person, maybe a relationship partner, who, like, acting kind of strange, you're not exactly sure what they're up to, like, you have the keen ability right here with the Capricorn to be able to, like, see through the bullshit, and the fact that you can just look inside yourself and know, what is bullshit and what's not. Right, because the weasel has this ability to go and find the answers that he wants, and then when somebody is called out on it, then they might have a little bit of aggressiveness, because the Badger is the opposite of both of those, where usually I really try and stick up for the rodents, but then Badgers come along and they're like bigger than a rodent, but not quite as big as a dog, and they, kind of have to fight between prey and predator in order to eat, and so they've kind of developed this aggressive nature. So it's symbolizing something possibly going on with your brand new endeavor, and that's kind of what I was saying about, like, the crazy ant on the end of the table, figuratively, of course. Could be for some of you, but where you've got this change in the fire and all of this joy, and you've got this building energy and all this integration, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna tell you from the bottom of my heart, and then somebody's just like, wow, that's stupid. Or maybe it's you and you're talking yourself out of it because you're ignoring the center. And this is how to connect to the center, is to go within that sacred space and find out these new abilities and all of this power you've got within you, and integrate it into this new plan, and don't let other opinions stop you, and don't stop yourself by getting inside your own head either. Because when we get inside our own head, it's actually other people's voices who stick with us. So just be cautious of that. Now let me pull one for the center out of this deck. This is Amazonian. It's the 2013 Awakening deck by David Carson. So this is the ball game. If you've seen Road to El Dorado, it's a pretty good show. It's a little cartoon. So from back in the day, but they play this game, and the hoop is up on the top of a building, and the characters are down in like a ball court, kind of like a basketball court, and it's kind of the same game, but the gods are incorporated with it, and it's borderline fight to the death. Just because the ball is made out of solid rubber, so it bounces, but in a very solid way. So it's about strategy. It's about being very particular. It's about connecting to the gods in order to, win the game by following the rules. Because, the entire community is like surrounding, almost like in a gladiator situation, and then the ball game goes on for months and days and days and months. And so you've got this mental clarity and the awakening, and like this butterfly is just so happy to be here, and he's flying around in circles and just so excited, and this one is so excited and dancing in the rays of the sunshine, and the beaver's like, I know what to do, I have all of the tools, and then this one is here to say, I have the tools, I have the know-how, my brain's going to get inside of this, I'm going to push it forward, and then you start pushing yourself around a little bit, and you're kind of getting aggressive when it comes to the action. So do a little bit more of the retreating stuff, a little bit more of the recollection. I mean, even with New Year's resolution, if you think about the actual dictionary meaning of the word of resolution, it's saying like it's a plan to resolve a bad situation. And that's not at all how we want to go into a new year. We want to go into it saying, 2017 was amazing. I found out this, and I found out this, and I found out this, and I was able to integrate it that way, and I learned this, and I was able to teach this, and I found this new passion. And give power to each thing that happened in 2017, and do a little bit of journaling on it, and say, I made it this far, I have this far to go, and that's the strategy, right? Just be cautious to stay grounded while you do that. Okay, so this is a snake, but rather than being incorporated with transformation, sorry, because on the card it says transmutation, and I always just think transformation, and it confuses me. So this guy instead, he has this thing coming out of like his third eye, and the third eye had a jewel on it, and this snake had this ability to squeeze into tiny, tiny crevices, and so he goes into a cave, and he lights up the whole cave. Well, the humans, saw that he had this amazing, valuable jewel on the top of his skull, and so they tracked him down and found the cave, and they tried to chop off his head and take the jewel. And what happened was the jewel split up into millions of tiny pieces. Millions of tiny pieces, and went into everything. So the power they were trying to harness, they released it, and now it's in every single thing we do. So it's this joy, and it's finding the joy, where he would go into tiny crevices and stuff. And this little guy, tiny crevices, in order to find the things that he wants. So it's a very interpersonal reading. It's a very, and I'm still going, but but this one is actually about brightness, and it is about finding the joy in the small things. So, and then we go right here into change, and you have this integration here, this beautiful bridge between water and earth, and it's here as well. And as you're a fire sign, and you're wanting to not only find your passion, but to lead with your passion and to push with your passion, it's asking you more so to do the recollection, to, this is connected to water as well. We've got water here, water there. So don't get caught up in the small stuff, for sure. Diversions, not something to worry about. If every single one of your cards had something like that, I would be worried, but where it's over here with your relationships and then within, like I said, it's like an inner voice inside of your head. So we want to take lessons and we want to learn from them, but we don't want everyone else to dictate how we move forward, because our change is ours to make. And so we'll go within here with the opossum energy. And yes, perfect. So we have the monkey, and he represents the left brain. So this is about strategy, and it's about having opposable thumbs and, being able to sit with a coconut for I don't know how many hours and try and like weave a basket, right? And so it's kind of fidgety, okay? So just be cautious. Just know that it's your left brain, it's the ego, it's the human condition, and just give yourself space to be mindful of it and just, tell that voice, even if it's inside your head, to just be like, you know what? My joy is what matters, and just tell yourself that time and time and time and time again. It's very important. And just understand how okay, so this one just wants to come out. This is the Sacred Space card, again, so different decks, same meaning, essentially. You've got, like, the circle there, and it's kind of made into, like, this temple. You've got sacred geometry, so it's about cycles as well, coming back to the same thing until you've learned it lots of times. So we've got cycle here with change, and cycle here with new responsibility, responsibility came out of my mouth. I was going to say ability, but we have responsibility here too. You have a responsibility to do this thing that you want to do. You are given your purpose for a reason, and you are expected to, I don't want to say abide by, but just to put that first, more so than society norms or money or, and actually do it. Like, don't just hashtag vision board, just the action plan. And don't talk yourself out of it. Like I said, I get home from work or school or whatever, and I just tell myself, you have the rest of the day today to do whatever it is that you want to do. Therefore, you have all of this freedom to make whatever choice you want, and there you go. You lead with your joy. You say, what do I want? And I'm going to enjoy this day, and I'm going to make sure of it and put it first. So then we have this one, which is the womb space. So again, we've just got this red energy, very vibrant energy. It is connected. To me, it feels a little bit like fire, so I want you to tone the fire down a little bit. And this is how to do that, is to close down that sacred space. This can be like cleaning out your shelves, cleaning off your table, cleaning off your bed, or making your bed every day, or, whatever it is that you want to do to make sure that when you come home, you feel a breath of fresh air. Like, we always want to come home and feel like, oh, I finally get here. So it might take one weekend or, just one burst of energy to really be like, okay, my space is going to be mine now, and get excited to put your colors on the walls, to put your brand out there, or, I'm kind of reminded of like MySpace back in our day. I'm 25, so it kind of started out as that, and you were able to make so many different changes to this profile where it would have, roses in the background, or it would just be decorated, right? And so now what we do with that is websites rather than just MySpace. And because, Facebook doesn't let us do that, but just go through like your Instagram, your Pinterest account, and start finding your unique niche or brand or whatever it is that really makes you you, and start concentrating on those things. That's how you're going to get grounded. That's how you're going to gain the confidence that it needs to kind of stop getting in your own head and creating more things than you might be giving credit for. So just be cautious of that. Be very calm moving forward, and concentrate on the joy, because you have all of these abilities and tools and knowledge and passion going on. And just come back to that inner child, integrate everything you've learned, really tone in on that sacred space, and just be ready to change and mutate very fluidly. You don't have to do it fast. It's on your own time, and you are in control. So I hope this helps, Sagittarius. I'm so happy that you tuned in. So you can work with me just by commenting on this video. I will go ahead and reach back to you, or you can email me on this platform, or if you want to, if you'd like to go to your Facebook and just type in Mountain Medicine Mindset, I go on there to do live intuitive card pulls as well, and so we can be interactive and face-to-face that way. I do that about once a week, and then I'm available for, full readings as well, and I'm going to open up a group program where each one of these quadrants is a week, and we go week 1, week 2, week 3, and we, put all of this together, and week 4, which ends in this action step, right? So if the strategy thing is a little bit stressful for you and you're trying to kind of move it along in a flow and you just want these